Welcome everyone to Defender for Cloud in the Field. Another great episode today. I want to thank you everyone for subscribing to the Microsoft Security channel. If you did not, make sure to follow the link below, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications when new videos are uploaded. And with that, I want to say welcome to our guest that is going to talk about some of the functionalities available in Defender for Cloud in a multi-cloud environment. For the first time in the show, our friend from our Israeli team, Ortal Parpara. Ortal, thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you, Yuri, for inviting me here.
Absolutely, great to have you here. So before we start, can you just give a brief overview about what you do for Microsoft, a little bit about your work?
Yes, so I'm a software engineer in Microsoft Defender for Cloud. My team mainly focuses on anything that is involved with the server protection. We are in charge of everything under the Defender for Servers bundle in Microsoft Defender for Cloud.
Awesome. We had previously here Netta, and I know you work a lot with Netta. She explained a lot about some of the functionalities and some of the advanced capabilities on Defender for Servers, mainly for the multi-cloud. But recently we have some pretty cool additions when it comes to the different plans, P1 and P2 on multi-cloud. So what is the difference between the new setting that we have and the previous experience?
Okay, so recently we released the opportunity for customers to define their pricing and auto-provisioning settings for cloud connectors and for Azure subscription separately. Up until now, the customers could connect their multi-cloud accounts from AWS or from GCP Cloud into Azure for cloud protection, and those cloud connectors had to have the same pricing and the same configurations for auto provisioning of agents as their Azure subscription. From now, the customer can actually define a different pricing setting and a different setting for installing agent in the Azure subscription and the cloud connector. This allows more granularity, and it also allows to define a different configuration for each cloud.
That's really good. This flexibility is something that we heard in the past. I'm glad that y'all addressed this feedback. Does the customer needs to take any action to change this?
No, it's already applied for all our existing customers. So customers can already go ahead and change their settings as they wish. And yes, it's already applied for all.
That's pretty good. So is this supported in both clouds, like AWS and GCP connector?
Correct. So this is already supported in AWS connectors, GCP connectors, and any clouds we will support next.
And once the customer implement this, what change should the customer expect in the environment?
For any machine, let me start over. So when a customer onboards to Azure with a cloud connector, other machines from EC2 in AWS or virtual machines in GCP, they should be connected to Azure in some way, so we can provide a security value for those machines. We do that using Arc agent, and it's also available for customers to perform Arc auto provisioning from the cloud connector settings, and then we will install automatically the Arc agent on their cloud machines. What's different from now on is that those Arc machines also have tags on them, and I will show it later in my demo. They have tags that define to which account they are connected to and to which cloud. So this is some change the customer can expect to have in their environment, and those tags are very important for our management of the machine.
Okay, and how this actually how this change applies to the management account in AWS and or in organization in GCP.
So for any management account, when there is a connector for a management account, either in AWS or in GCP, the other accounts are onboarded automatically as connectors, and then the customer can define separately for each child account, for each child cloud connector, the different settings, both for pricing and both for automatic provisioning.
Oh, this is great. So you can be even more granular. You can have one for the management account and then a different one for the child.
Correct.
That's great. Awesome. And since you talk about demo, let's switch to the demo and see this in action.
Cool. So I'm here in the main screen of Microsoft Defender for Cloud. I'll go to my environment settings. And let me demonstrate on an AWS connector. Since we are now talking about Microsoft Defender for Servers, this is the row that defines Defender for Servers. Let me minimize this. And then here, I can set the plan on or off for this specific connector. As well, I can select the pricing tier, either P1 or P2, the same as I can do that for the subscription. Once I select the pricing tier, I can configure the agents according to my needs. So we have 3 available agents for auto provisioning settings in the Cloud Connector. We have the Arc agent auto provisioning, which will automatically install Arc agent on the multi-cloud machines. In our case, it will be all the EC2s that are under this account in AWS. Once the customer has this Arc agent, we must have those 2 agents as well to provide the security value. So we have one agent for vulnerability assessment and the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint Extension, both of which provide the customer with alerts and notifications about their security status of each machine. I can select here which vulnerability assessment solution I'd like to select. And the third agent we have here is the Log Analytics extension, which is currently defined only in subscription level, and this is why it's grayed. It's only showing me what's defined on the subscription level of the connector. And these are the agents that I can select and save, and then I can continue normally with updating the connector, as we already know that.
All right, so if the connector is already in place, I just need to change that setting and then update the connector, right?
Correct.
All right, I don't need to recreate. There is nothing to erase and start it over yet. The only thing that you need to do is go to the connector, change the setting, and update.
Correct, and usually those will be in default on. So unless you change them, it's already on for you.
Okay, and once I update the connector, how long it takes to propagate and to actually start deploying?
So it depends on each solution. It's different. Up to 24 hours, you should be able to see everything, including assessments, alerts, findings, etc. Yes.
Awesome. So this is the experience from the granularity of selecting the plan. I think you also have another thing that you want to show as well?
Correct. So I also want to show how it looks on the Arc machines that are installed from our side. So this is a virtual machine in GCP, which has Arc agent installed on it. So I can see it in my Azure Portal under my subscription. It will always be on the same subscription as your connector and in the same resource group. And then I can see here the tags that actually define to which account, or in GCP's case, to which project it belongs to. So I can see the machine ID here. I can see the project ID and the project number, the instance name in GCP, and to which cloud, in this case, as I said, it's GCP. We can also see it here in the cloud provider. So this is what the customer should expect to see.
Mm-hmm.
Another tag that a customer can have, I can show it here in the AWS machine, is this tag NDFC Security Connector. This means this machine is connected to an account which has an active connector in MDC. And these tags should not be changed in order for the environment of the customer to operate as we expect.
That's pretty cool. Awesome. And those tags are automatically provisioning as well, right?
Correct. So it's automatically being applied and removed whenever necessary. In each scenario, it's necessary.
In other words, customers should not remove those tags.
Correct. Either remove or add them if they want their environment to be to operate as expected. Yes.
All right, that's great. That was a very straightforward. I mean, it's just a little thing, but it makes a huge difference. So thank you very much for giving the overview on that. Do you have any final consideration about what's coming next? I'm not sure if you can talk about, but maybe give a little tip about what's coming.
So we know that Log Analytics agent is a very valuable agent for customers, which has many values depending on it. For example, application control and endpoint protection assessments. And currently it's only available in the subscription level, but but we are working on providing this configuration as well in the connector level, which will be as granular as the other configuration.
Awesome. Ortal, great update for the community. I think customers will appreciate this new setting. Thank you very much for taking the time to put the demo together and for joining the show and give us this update. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Yuri, for having me.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. That's the end of another episode, the Fina for Cloud in the Field. Thank you very much for your audience. Again, make sure to subscribe, Microsoft Security Channel, aka link is right below. Make sure to go there, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned. We have a lot more to come on the upcoming weeks. See you next time.